Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of TaxProTalk or
Hashtag
TPT.
TPT.
Hey, Jim, who do we have with us today?
Well, today we've got with us our friend Mike DeVolio, CPA, tax attorney, and helps distill a lot of these legislative acts for our tax development team so they can put it into our product. So welcome, Mike.
Hi, Jim. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Yeah, today we're going to be talking with Mike about the CARES Act that just passed in March. And it's a pretty big act. There's some complexity in there. And today we're going to be talking about some of the individual provisions. So, Mike, one of the most important things I think that taxpayers and practitioners are interested in is this new stimulus payment to get cash into people's bank accounts. Tell us about that.
Yes, those stimulus payments, people are definitely anxiously awaiting those for good reason. So off the top, $1,200 for taxpayers, $2,400 for a joint return. And then you get $500 for each qualifying child. Then there's some limitations involved. You get a full payment if your adjusted gross income is up to $75,000 for individuals, $150,000 for joint returns. If you're below those thresholds, you get a full payment. Now, if you're at the other end of the curve, you don't get any payment. That is adjusted gross income above $99,000 for individuals and above $198,000 for a joint return and no children. So those are kind of the two different ends of the spectrum. And then there's a phase out if you're in between those ranges. I won't go through the specifics.
Right. Okay. Yep. The typical kind of phase out. And we've seen this before with things like in 2009, we had one of those stimulus payments. So is this just free money, or Mike, is this going to be reconciled on their 2020 tax returns?
Both. It is free money, and they will reconcile on next year's tax return whether you receive the right amount or the wrong amount based on your AGI. So it is free money. You're getting it up front, but they will have a reconciliation measure next year.
Okay. And then do we know what happens if the IRS doesn't have direct deposit information for the taxpayer?
Yes. So a couple things on that front. They will look at your 2019 tax return if it was already filed. And then if it wasn't filed yet, they'll actually look at 2018. If there's no direct deposit information and you don't want the government to give you a paper check, the IRS is developing, as we speak, a portal where you can go out there and fill in that information. The checks are supposed to begin going out or the money's going out in about 3 weeks or so. So they hope to stand up this microsite, this portal, where you'll be able to punch in that direct deposit info.
Okay. So as soon as that's available, practitioners will want to coach their taxpayers to get that updated if they want a direct deposit as opposed to a check, which checks generally run about 6 weeks or so to get those out.
Yeah, a lot more efficient if you can do direct deposit, a lot safer too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. So taxpayers and practitioners don't necessarily need to do anything to get these stimulus checks. Is that right?
Yes, for the most part, I would say no. If they haven't filed a 2019 return yet, the government will look to 2018. But if the information has changed quite a bit, the AGI and all that stuff, and also updated maybe direct deposit info, it might behoove you to go ahead and send in that 2019 return so that the government has your latest information.
Okay. Good recommendation. What were some of the other provisions that were in this Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, Mike?
Yeah, they had a bunch of different provisions that apply to the individual. Two others with pretty good significance. The government pulled back the 10% penalty or the additional tax for coronavirus-related retirement plan distributions in 2020. So the bottom line there is I can take these distributions out and not get hit with the 10% early withdrawal penalty. That's
for folks younger than 59 and a half?
Yeah, good call out, Jim. Typically, they would be penalized. So yes, they'll be able to take out the money penalty free.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Still subject to tax, no penalty. Okay.
Yeah, good differentiation there. Correct.
Okay. And then anything else related to retirement distributions?
Yeah, our friend RMD, required minimum distribution requirement, that is waived for 2020. So if you had RMD, you don't have to pull that money out. If you already pulled it out, the government, I believe, the latest I read was you have 60 days to go ahead and put it back in. I don't know how that is going to work, but I think there's a 60-day window for that.
Okay. So for those taxpayers that don't necessarily need that money and don't want to be subject to tax and leave that in their IRA, they can either leave that there or put those RMDs back if it's been within 60 days.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Anything else on the individual side, Mike, that you can share with us about the CARES Act?
Yeah, Jim, they did relax some charitable contribution limitations if you happen to bump up against those. For instance, they'll disregard the 60% AGI limit on cash contributions made during 2020. And the funny thing there is the contributions don't have to be made to a COVID-19 related charity. They kind of loosen those rules across the board. The government also put in place a $300 above the line charitable deduction beginning in 2020 and forward. So if you're not itemizing deductions, you're going to get the benefit of a potential $300 above the line charitable deduction.
Okay. All right. Gonna mess up those forms that we just finalized last year. All those schedules.
That's right. The postcard will no longer be a postcard.
Yeah. You'll have to find someplace to put that line. All right. Hey, that's great. Thank you for sharing the individual provisions of the CARES Act, Mike. We appreciate you joining us today.
You bet, Jim. Thanks for having me.
You bet. And then, Robbie, if folks who are watching want to get more information about all these COVID-related legislations, where can they find that?
Yeah, today's been great. If you want more information, we've got a website dedicated to COVID and the tax implications thereof. All of that information is going to be down below in the description, so click on that link. While you're down there, go ahead and hit the like button or subscribe to stay tuned for more information.
Awesome. Great. And thank you for joining us on TaxProTalk or
Hashtag
TPT.
Thank you.
Right on.
All right. Good job.
Thank you for watching Tax Pro Talk, brought to you by Intuit Pro Connect for tax and accounting professionals.